this is hopefully Ruth, Judy, and any other judges. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But I'm trying to keep it light. So this is for the Queen of Queens, to help get some queens out of Queens, because because they're probably using the cheapest properties in Bifftown to fund the embassies of every country or something. But then they're going to call them all queens. So that's this is for them. In case any of their children are watching. I want to keep it light. So when I walked, I'm telling the truth. When I walked up to the White House and knocked on the front door, I couldn't, because I was stopped by a series of barriers that I could clearly see were designed as an intricate way to keep people very far away from the White House. Then I was told multiple times to walk out in the yard around the fence out front. And there was a bunch of flashy lights and flashy cones and weird markers, weird games I've never seen before out in the front yard, and kids playing on it. And I'm just walking along, and I decided to just find the first sniper position for the White House with my no, it's not my Mr. Wizard. It's my Bill Nye the Science Guy tie. And if I know, and because the Queen of Queens is the Queen of Queens, she's got a shot of that. But everybody else is getting the live feed. But here's one for the skinhead police officer that picked me up the night and took me into the sanitarium, because I've been extremely proper and gentlemanly with this situation, because I fibbed a little bit, and because I could clearly see that man was a soldier. He spoke English very well, and he was a tall and properly uniformed police officer. But I couldn't get 2 taxis in front of my hotel to take a fare when they're leaning on the taxi. But I'm sorry, buddy, I'm trying, but I can't explain how they have a public PA system parked over your city just in case, because I'm trying to, but the only way I can explain it to the children is that the women's auxiliary is the most equal that I could refer to for the age of people that I saw outside, because I'm not well versed in the history of Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic. I'm sorry, I slipped. But I tried very hard because I wrote a story, and when I got back to when I was drugged back by my mom and my cyborg wife, or not cyborg, yes, my cyborg wife, I went back to my house. I wrote the story before I was being monitored, supposedly. No, I used Google Translator to translate it, but I wrote and then I hand wrote all of the check marks and digits and stuff, and hand wrote it down, and then I wrote it on my GoDaddy software platform, but I couldn't put all the digits and dashes in. So I took the original notes with me in July, so that if I met with a journalist, she could then officially decipher it, because I couldn't really remember what I wrote. I don't keep a record of what I originally entered into Google Translator when I write, because I just kind of write in one direction, like, time. And sometimes you have to reread, but yeah. But the title I translated at the Carnegie Mellon University library, main library, on my own using a book. But here's my confession of what happened after my mother and my wife, that I know is not there. My mom took me to lunch one day at the Italian bar called the Pleasure Bar, but that's kind of the way I know that I think it's actually an Italian-owned restaurant, because it's a strange name to have. And we were talking, and I was trying to explain to her, but not really, and she's asking me stuff, and I said, Mom, I really get the feeling that because of technology, every woman in the world is going to get owned. And her response back to me was, well, honey, sometimes you just have to let things happen. And I flew the heck back out of there in July. But it's fine, Porn Stash Michaels. No big deal, because you call yourself a creator on your website, right? And I put lead organizer on my card because I didn't know how to title myself, and I felt that was a good neutral name to call my business card. And if you think that I don't know that the reason that people have the idea that you let this ragtag bunch of people just do whatever is that you allowed Dominican Lou to kind of just meander around you and yell at you and stuff, and it was hilarious. But at least, no, it's fine, but it's not really that fine, because I know that David Letterman Paul Schaefer made David Letterman go down and talk to a Middle Eastern small business owner down on the street. You watch him go down and talk to a Middle Eastern small business owner right down the street from him. So, it's not really that fine, is it? But to Merkel, I can tell a couple hunting stories to a couple hunting stories to the Werewolf of London and the King of Ukuleles, so that Putin and Obama and yourself can sit in the back patio and just kind of chat and drink a beer together while I show Obama some things, or help his two daughters. No, not Obama some things. I was going to just help his two daughters shoot an in-your-face video about CRT technology to shut off max headroom.